to show you different ways to do some different animations, and the example I'm going to use for right now is for text. But you can animate similarly with using any symbol, whether it is a character or text. But let's get started with some text. The first thing you'll notice is I've created 3 different pieces of text, and I have them in 3 different layers. So I have my title, I have my author, and my animated. Now, I just noticed, however, that my animated has an empty keyframe. That means that I thought that I created this in the right layer, and I have not. One of the ways you can check, you can make the layer invisible. So this is obviously empty, so I'm going to go down to my author, and I'm going to click on the first little dot, which is the visibility. So I'm going to click on it, make it invisible, and I notice that both of these things go away. This happens a lot of times when you don't realize you're putting things into the same layer. It is an easy fix before you start to animate, because right now I wouldn't be able to animate these 2 separately, which is what I want to do. So I'm going to use my selection tool. I'm going to click on my animated by. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to click on the correct layer, and I'm just going to paste it back and move it out of the way for now because I'm not using it. But you can see now that I have a keyframe and that it has filled in the layers accordingly so that it exists for the full 55 frames. So I'm going to get started on working on Tuesday, the name of the book. So I'm going to lock all the layers down. I'm going to click on that first keyframe for Tuesday, and you can see that I have it selected. So I'm going to click on Tuesday, and I need to make Tuesday a symbol so I can do the different animations that I want. So I'm going to go to Modify, Convert to Symbol. I'm going to make this one a movie clip and make sure that it has the correct name. And then I will click OK, and it will become part of my library, which I have right down here. So I'm going to click on Tuesday, and you will notice that the properties menu over here has changed. So what I would like this to do is it comes in, I want it to start to glow. So in the beginning I'm going to leave the symbol completely the way that I want it to start out normal. I'm going to come up to my timeline. I'm going to right click and choose Create Motion Tween. That is going to change all of the frames to blue. That is telling you that there is something going on in here, some type of animation that's going to happen. It's called a tween. So we're using a motion tween. So I know how I want it to start. I started it outside the stage. Now what I'm going to do is at the end of my timeline, I'm going to click, and I am going to move my symbol to where I want it to end up. And I told you that I wanted it to glow. So I'm going to come over here to the filters menu. Now, right now, you're going to need to have it add a filter. At the very bottom, you're going to see that there is a choice where it should be drop down. You can make sure that it is opened. All the way down here at the bottom, you're going to have a couple of different icons. This first icon says Add Filter. When you click on Add Filter, you'll see the different choices that are in here. I want it to have a glow, so I'm going to choose Glow, and then some choices will come up. You're going to notice possibly that this automatically started to have a bit of an outline. The color that I have on here right now is a red, so I'm going to change it to a white. And that might not be the greatest color choice, but we're going to play around with it and see. We're going to increase the strength of the glow by dragging it open. We're going to increase the size of the glow by increasing the percentage or the amount of blur. And you can see that the Tuesday in the day part has now really started to glow as if it were the rising moon or something of that nature. Now, in looking at this, this is possibly not the best color choice. So I'm going to go back into my glow and I'm going to pick something else. So I'm going to pick more of a yellow. And now I'm not really a fan of the color of my text, so I might want to change the color of my text, which I will do afterwards when I'm finished. So I'm going to move this off to the side. You can notice now that it does have a glow, and what I'm going to do is what's called scrubbing the scene. Across the top, this is your timeline. This is called your playhead. If you click and drag on the playhead, you can actually see it play. Now it went from red to the yellow, which means in the beginning I had on a glow and I need to remove it. So I'm going to go back and fix that first. So I'm going to go back to my first frame and click on it and go back, click on my symbol, change the color to the same yellow, or maybe I'll change it actually to white, and then it'll change into yellow. And let's see what happens. That's actually not so bad. Changing colors. I kind of like that. Text color isn't so great, but I'm not. So let's change the text color. Now that I've turned this into a symbol, it's not as simple as just going over here and clicking on the text. You can notice that I have a no symbol. It's not letting me do anything. So I actually need to edit my symbol from my menu. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose edit. It's going to open my symbol in another window. Now this is where I can actually edit the text color. So I'm going to highlight the text and let's turn it to white and then go back to the scene and see what happens. That's not too bad. I like that. That works. So it's kind of starting to come in, it's a little subtle, and then it gets more apparent. When you also create an edge in tween, it will show you the path that it chooses, or the path that you have moved your symbol in, and you can manipulate that path accordingly. So if, for example, I want it to go straight up, so I'm going to move it, I'm going to start in the beginning again, I'm going to go to the end, and I'll move it more directly straight up. It gets rising and straight in the line of my path. Remove myself. That's the first thing. Now I'm going to move on to my author. I'm going to do a different type of animation for this. I'm going to lock down the title layer, go to the author layer, and what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to have it change colors as it starts to come through. So I'm going to move it to where I want it to start, and I notice that it's too big, so I'm going to bring my font size down so that it fits, and I'm going to start it out in this blue, and then I'm going to have it change colors a couple of different times. So I am going to need to convert this to a symbol. So I'm going to click on it, again, modify, convert to symbol. This time I'm going to use a graphic instead of a movie clip. Movie clip and graphics do different things. The movie clips will allow you to use filters, where the graphic will allow you to change color and make things start to appear or disappear, called an alpha, which should sound a little bit familiar to you. So I am going to call this author, and I'm going to hit OK. My panel changed over here again, and now you can see that there is the color effect. So what I am going to do is I'm going to, in the beginning, leave it as normal. I'm going to, again, right click, create a motion tween, goes blue. I'm going to have it change color a few times, so I'm going to come to here first, and I am going to have it move down to about here, and at that point I am going to have it change to a different color. And you can play around with the RGB colors to get a different color choice. And play around with your tint. So you get it to be whatever you would like it to be. Change the color entirely by clicking on the tint at the top, and you can notice that now I have a black dot or a keyframe. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to have it come down about here, and this time I'm going to change the color again. I'll choose green, lighter green, and then all the way at the end where I'm going to have it stay, I'm going to change it to white just like the title. And this time it'll go to white. You can play around with all your choices. I'm going to bring my tint all the way up. So now, again, I'll scrub the scene to test it playing, and there goes Tuesday starting to glow, and there goes the author changing its different colors. Now when you actually play the movie, you're not going to see the paths. Okay, right now we're just testing the movies, so that's why they are visible. Now moving on to animated by. Now this one I'm going to have it grow in. So again, I will lock the author, unlock the animated by, click on that first symbol, and take the animated, and I want it on 2 lines. So I haven't made it a symbol yet. I can convert it easily. I'll double click on it, hit enter, put it on 2 lines, click back on it, convert to symbol, F8. This is called animated. This one, I'm going to keep it as a graphic. So I'm going to take this one, and it's going to be in the center, and I'm going to make it start out smaller, and I'm going to add an alpha to it. The alpha is going to make it be invisible in the beginning. Motion tween, go to the end, click on it again. I'm going to bring the alpha all the way back in, and I'm also going to take the size and make it larger. So let's see. You can see that slowly appears as everything starts to happen. So that's 3 different styles that you can do with text.